2023 Heart of Law Enforcement Awards ceremony. My name is Christy Miller, and I have the distinct pleasure of being your mistress of ceremonies for today's event. I did want to go ahead and let you know if there are any media in the room, we have press kits at that front table. If you didn't stop by, please do so. They're out there in the lobby. Press kits are also available electronically on our website. They will be downloadable immediately following the conclusion of our event today. Trust me, you will want to access those press kits. They are also available for the public if you'd like, because today you will hear some amazing stories that exemplify the kindness, the compassion, and the commitment law enforcement officers across our state display every day as they do their duties. I can guarantee you will be moved by these selfless stories. But before we begin, we will receive a blessing. Pastor Dan Davis with the First Pentecostal Church of Baton Rouge. If you would come up and open us in prayer, please, sir.
Would you join me in prayer, please? Heavenly Father, we first want to be quick to give you praise for every blessing that you've placed in our life. We thank you for your hand of protection. We thank you for imparted strength. We thank you for your wisdom in handling the volatile situations of life. You are a good, great God, and we give you thanks. Now we ask that you bless this day as we honor a few who have gone above and beyond the call of duty. We ask that you would bless this food to the nourishment of our bodies and bless us to your service. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. We want to make sure everyone is heard and recognized the entire time, so I will ask you at this moment to silence your cell phones, or at least put them on vibrate, if you don't mind. And now it is my distinct pleasure to introduce Louisiana State Police Honor Guard, led by Lieutenant Kevin Curley. They will conduct the presentation of colors. And then our 2022 Beyond the Badge Service Before Self Award recipients, Lieutenant Nikki Frank and Detective Keneal Henry, will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So please stand for the pledge.
Present arms.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order off. Mark time. March. Ready. Please. Forward. March. Ready. Go. Ready. Two. Present arms. Order off. Left. March.
We're going to go ahead and let you all get situated. What we're going to do is take a brief pause in our program. We're going to allow the catering staff to come out and serve our meals. You'll be able to eat, and then we'll resume our program shortly. So enjoy your lunch today. Thank you. All corners of the state. We continue to be humbled by the quality of the nominations submitted and by the support that we receive, just like people in this room today. As a matter of fact, among today's attendees are a number of special dignitaries particularly several elected officials. We offer you our sincere thanks for being here today. The mission of Beyond the Badge is to educate the public about ordinary law enforcement officers performing extraordinary acts of kindness in their communities. These acts of kindness extend beyond the oath that each officer takes, or the duty that is required of them in their day-to-day responsibilities. Since spring of 2016, Beyond the Badge Louisiana has had the privilege of recognizing 64 law enforcement officers from agencies all across the state. Today, Beyond the Badge will honor 12 additional Heart of Law Enforcement Award recipients. Typically, one officer whose act of kindness stands out in the field of nominees is honored with Beyond the Badge's prestigious Service Before Self Award. Today, we will add one more officer to the Heart of Law Enforcement Service Before Self awardee class. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Ms. Linda Hall, who is the founder of Beyond the Badge Louisiana, and she will tell you a bit more about her vision. Ms. Hall.
Started Beyond the Badge in the year fall of 2015. Kathy Childers, Donna Tate, and I had coffee over my kitchen table, bringing an idea that I had been thinking about for several weeks. It seemed that every time I picked up a newspaper or turned on the TV, there was a report about a law enforcement officer somewhere that had done something terribly wrong. And while I realized this happens occasionally, I knew the vast majority of law enforcement officers were caring, kind people who put their lives on the line every day to protect us and keep us safe. I had seen on social media performing acts of kindness to citizens whom they came in contact with. Yet it seemed the media was not interested in reporting these stories. So I began to envision a project whereby we could recognize these officers, these humanitarians, who happen to wear a uniform with a badge and guns. And we could share their stories and somehow demonstrate our gratitude to them. How is kindness defined? Kindness is one of the most beautiful expressions of our humanity. Everyday kindness, random acts of kindness, heroic moments of kindness banish fear, soothe pain, revive hope, and restore faith in our humanity. There are times when the people need more than anything else is to extend the beautiful kindness to one another. The power of kindness is undeniable. It's a superpower. And that's what law enforcement does each and every day in their communities. And kindness is contagious. Beyond the Badge is a nonprofit organization run completely by a group of small citizens that have no paid staff, no office, and no overhead. At this time, I would like to ask our executive committee, our advisory board, and other BT volunteers to stand up and be recognized. My sincere thanks for your contribution. Every penny that BTB collects through sponsorships and donations is used to furtherance our mission. And that mission is to educate the public about ordinary law enforcement officers performing extraordinary acts of kindness in their community. We are incredibly thankful to our sponsors, as you can see on the screen, for our support. Because of them, we are able to present each of our law enforcement honorees with a Beyond the Badge Heart of Law Enforcement Award in recognition know law enforcement officers are quietly performing these acts of kindness, and we want to hear about them. Please help us spread the word. Thank you.
With passion and commitment like that, ladies and gentlemen, you can see how Linda, with her vision, has been able to continually organize such a stellar event year after year. Linda spoke about our event sponsors, but we recognize that many people who want to support BTB aren't able to give in that same capacity. If that's your situation, we've created an individual giving campaign called We've Got Your Six. Many of you have heard this phrase, right? Its origin comes from World War I fighter pilots to mean, I've got you covered so the enemy can't come up behind your back, also known as one's 6 o'clock, and kill you. It's still widely used by the military and law enforcement today. The underlying message of I've got your six or we've got your six is we're loyal to you, we've got you covered, you're safe from enemies stabbing you in the back or taking you down when we are looking after you. For an organization like BTB that was created to show support for law enforcement and tell their good stories, this is the perfect name for a campaign in which individuals can make financial contributions to support future Heart of Law Enforcement Awards luncheons. So how does one get to be a We've Got Your Six member? Well, for a donation of $6 a month or a one-time annual donation of $72, individuals can financially support BTB's efforts. In exchange, the individual gets one ticket to the annual Heart of Law Enforcement Awards luncheon and a fashionable BTB short-sleeve gray, dark gray t-shirt, seen here in my hands. If you're interested in signing up for the campaign today, there is a campaign card tucked into your program. If that's still a little bit pricey for you, you can support BTB by purchasing a t-shirt only. These, let me show it to you correctly. These shirts are available for sale in our lobby for a donation of $25. And now, ladies and gentlemen, after that shameless but necessary plug, because we want to see this continue, right? Don't we? Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to introduce you to who has become one of my favorite people and one of our most committed champions. And that is Lieutenant Governor for the great state of Louisiana, Mr. Billy Nungesser. He's a successful businessman, y'all. He was the former parish president in Plaquemines, and as a statewide elected official, he's worked closely with many first responders, and he's earned the appreciation and respect of law enforcement all across this state. The Lieutenant Governor first heard Linda speak back in 2016. She was talking at a Republican women's group about this event. He immediately jumped up, he pledged his support, and he has been a gold sponsor ever since. The Lieutenant Governor and his staff work tirelessly to support our organization. We are truly honored to have such a committed honorary chairman of our program. Sir, we welcome you to the stage for some remarks.
So I am honored to be here again this year. This is an event I won't miss. It is so important for all the men and women that do so much to keep us safe and to recognize those special officers that go beyond the call of duty. You see, I didn't just start getting involved in helping law enforcement since I've been elected. As a young man owning the catering business, I saw on TV all the negative we see on TV about police or incidences that happen. And I contacted the police in New Orleans and asked if I could put a banner in the Mardi Gras parades to say thank you and feed those police officers on every corner. And did that for many years when I was in the catering business, just to say thank you. So it's something near and dear to my heart that I will do anything I can for any of our law enforcement or their families anywhere to help out. This is a great organization that, and let me tell you, if you pledge a sponsor, you better send a check. Because my check got lost in the mail, and I heard from it every week. So I said, look, Lynn, I'm bringing the check with me. I'm not taking a chance. Because I did not want to get here today and not have that check. But this is a great organization that recognizes so many special people, and I'm just honored to be a part of it. And I want to mention, as we prepare to present the Heart of Law Enforcement Awards, that each recipient will receive a flag, a framed Louisiana state flag that has been flown over the Capitol, and each will receive a Beyond the Badge Challenge coin, coffee mug, and a $100 Visa gift card. The service before self-honoree will receive a $500 gift card as well. And then we also, through the Louisiana Tourism Office, have a little bag of goodies for each as well. They will also get a tactical gear bag that they can carry on their gear in as they carry out their law enforcement duties. So once again, I want to thank all of you for being here to support the great men and women that keep our state safe and do so much for our communities. God bless you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. You all know in his role, he serves as sort of the ambassador of the state, particularly for our culture, recreation, and tourism. And I cannot think of someone else who, in such a high place, is backing the blue than Lieutenant Governor. Thank you so much, sir. And now, I have to tell you all, the BTV Executive Committee went all out this year. They secured another dynamo of a speaker. His name is Mr. Charlie Spillers. Now, I could run down his incredibly impressive resume, but I am not friends with Charlie like one of our executive committee members is. Miss Kathy Childers, one of our 3 executive committee members, and her husband Bruce have been close personal friends of Charlie's for many years, but not too many because they are still young, vibrant people. Miss Childers is going to come up. She's going to tell you a little bit about Charlie and get us kicked off with his keynote.
I want to say that I exercised a little executive privilege to be able to do this, but we all know me. I threw a tantrum. I said I want to do it. I want to introduce Charlie, so here I go. And it has been a long time, so I'm going to put my reading glasses on. Best-selling author Charlie Spillers is a former Marine, Baton Rouge police officer, Mississippi Bureau of Narcotics Regional Commander, career federal prosecutor, and U.S. Department of Justice attaché for Iraq. Charlie Spillers has more than 42 years of experience as a law enforcement officer, commander, and federal prosecutor. He served with the Baton Rouge Police Department for 6 years, working undercover as an intelligence and narcotics officer. After Baton Rouge, he worked for 12 years with the Mississippi Bureau of Narcotics and rose to the rank of regional commander for all of North Mississippi. Charlie Spillers' book, Confessions of an Undercover Agent, so a picture of it over there, and also a few copies available for purchase, not that I'm plugging my friend's book, out in the front. His book describes experiences during 10 years of undercover crime fighting and narrow escapes with BRPD and the Mississippi Bureau of Narcotics. Playing different roles, Spillers infiltrated rings of burglars, safe crackers, drug trafficking groups, Dixie Mafia auto theft rings, and Mafia and Mexican drug smuggling operations. During Spillers' last undercover role, smugglers delivered 3,000 pounds of marijuana to him in Houston, Texas. Charlie Spillers capped off a unique career by becoming a career federal prosecutor working on major drug trafficking organizations, criminal street gangs, and white-collar crime. He volunteered and served 3 tours in Iraq for the Department of Justice. Spillers first as an attorney advisor to the Iraqi court that tried Saddam Hussein and other regime leaders. then served as the U.S. Department of Justice attaché for Iraq, and led a joint project to disrupt al-Qaeda financing. Spiller's work related to Iraq was recognized by the FBI Director, the Deputy Attorney General, the Italian Embassy, the British Ambassador, and Britain's Minister of State for the Armed Forces. Charlie Spillers earned renown as an instructor in law enforcement academies and in training courses for federal, state, and local officers. He served as an instructor in DOJ courses for new federal prosecutors and as an adjunct professor in graduate criminal justice courses. He's made presentations to the Prosecutors Association on search and seizure law and on investigations and prosecutions of violent street gangs. Charlie Spillers has been innovative in developing law enforcement training programs. He led the development of the Mississippi Highway Patrol Interdiction Program and organized an air and marine drug smuggling investigation force attended by Mississippi Bureau of Narcotics and Louisiana State Police narcotics agents, along with state agents from Tennessee, Texas, Alabama, and Georgia. He developed the first Mississippi Bureau of Narcotics Basic Agent Academy to be certified by the State Minimum Standards Boards. Amazon declared Charlie Spiller's book, Confessions of an Undercover Agent, a #1 new release nationwide in law enforcement memoirs. It became required reading in criminal justice courses at 2 universities. Spillers was a featured author at the Louisiana Book Festival and at the state book festivals in Mississippi and Tennessee. He's been featured in more than 180 book appearances and speaking engagements, including newspaper, magazine, radio, and TV interviews. Spillers is also the author of Whirlwind, a Frank Marsh novel, and is currently working on the sequel. So I received this wonderful bio from his people, but I noticed they left off the thing that impresses me the most, and that is this man puts in 1 hour every day on the Stairmaster, and then he does 100 squats using weights. Who does that? So with that, it is my pleasure and privilege to introduce author, scholar, patriot, elite athlete, and family man, and my friend and my husband, Charlie Spillers.
That's why I stay sore and stiff all the time. It's a pleasure to be here. And I have one important thing to say, and that is, please lower the expectations. As Kathy said, among the commendations I've received, I've been commended by the FBI Director, the Deputy Attorney General, Britain's Minister of State for the Armed Forces. And I've also been commended by the British Ambassador. I thought commendations like that rare. But then I came home from the store, groceries, and I put them on the counter, and my wife started going through the bags, put your groceries away. And behind me, I heard her say, "The milk." I said, "What?" "The milk." I said, "Well, it should be in the bag." "I don't see the milk." I said, "It's in the bag." "No, it's not here." I said, "What? Did I get it there?" "No, you forgot the milk." And I turned to work. "But the milk?" "No, you forgot the milk." I said, but, I've been commended by the British Ambassador. I don't care if you forgot the milk. So it doesn't matter how many commendations you receive. It doesn't matter how many thousands of copies your book is sold. You still have to remember why you pick up it. You still have to pay full price or senior price for a cup of coffee. And you still have to put out the trash with it in the trash. So they only go so far. It's a special honor to be here for this award ceremony with the people who did these extraordinary acts. In Baton Rouge, when I was deep cover in intelligence, then I had infiltrated a ring of career criminal safe practice and burglaries. And I was with them one afternoon in a bar, not far from me. And that bar was a hangout for career criminals. And while we were there, three of us, Randy the safecracker, Candyman his accomplice, sitting on bar stools together. Candyman sitting between us. Randy the safecracker said, "Hey, got something last night. Let me show you." He reached under his shirt, took out a blue steel 38. He passed it to Candyman. Candyman passed it to me. And of course, you know what I was doing? I was looking at it, trying to see the serial number. So I could put it in my intelligence report that night, and also figured it was probably stolen, and it would probably be used for a crime. But the numbers and the lettering was too small. And the light, even though it was afternoon, the light in the bar was too dim, I couldn't read the serial number. So I said, "Hey, Randy, I can use this. I'll give it back to you more." And I slipped it in my pocket. Boy, when I did, it was like you had punched a hornet's nest with stink. "Give it back, give it back." I was using the name, "Give it back." And the Candyman said, "Give it back." I said, "Oh man, I'll give it back tomorrow. Give it back." And all of a sudden, I take a drink of my beer, and all of a sudden I feel something in my side. I look down, and Candyman had stuck his 38 in my side. And he leaned over and said, "Give it back, give it back." And I thought, gosh, fingers on the trigger, but he probably won't shoot me at the bar, even though it's a hangout. So I'm going to take a swig of my beer and say, "Hey, I'll give it back tomorrow." And all of a sudden, I hear most of the field click. Yeah, that's right, click. I look down, and the gun was cocked. The hammer was all the way back. You know, a gun like I'm holding on that book cover there, except it was blue steel, the hammer. By the way, it's amazing what a difference a haircut makes. But the hammer was all the way back, and his finger was on the trigger. Boy, and I was twisted inside, and I was thinking fast. I thought, well, they probably won't shoot me. But you know what I was worried about? You know what I was worried about? It would go off accidentally, because all that takes, as you know, slight pressure on the trigger, the hammer slams down, and pow, and I can just imagine my guts shooting out over the floor. Twisted inside. And I was praying. And I was praying fast. And I was praying, don't sneeze, don't hiccup, don't have a spasm, don't cough, don't anybody walk by and that's the kind of praying I was doing, but I was doing it fast. And I said, okay, then I'll give it back. But I knew don't make a fast move, because if I do, I might involuntarily touch that trigger off. So slowly, I retrieve the gun and I pass it back to Randy. Candyman keeps the cocked gun in my side the whole time. Now here came the dangerous part. Candyman uncocked the gun in my side, but he uncocked it, but it's still in my side. And as all of you know, I think nearly all of you know, how do you uncock a revolver? Put your thumb on the hammer and you pull the trigger. And you try to lower the hammer slowly. And I say, put your thumb on the hammer and try to hold it back, because sometimes the hammer will slip. And if it does, bam! My God. And try to lower it slowly, because sometimes those trigger springs are strong, and you can't lower it slowly enough, and you go too fast, bam! My neighbor, a firearms instructor, said, yeah, when I told him about that, he said, yeah, I've had a revolver go off twice on the range of me that I was uncommon for people I was training, even though I'm trained. So he uncocked the gun with it in my side. And as he was doing that, time was frozen. My inside was twisting. I could just imagine it going off. And you know, that took maybe 3 seconds for him to lower it all the way. 3 seconds for that to be safe. How long does 3 seconds last? Well, here, lasts maybe like that. How long does 3 seconds last when a dentist is drilling your tooth in his finger? Well, yeah, it was like that, except it seemed like a lifetime. And you know, for those 3 seconds that seemed like a lifetime, I wasn't part of this normal world that all of you are in. I wasn't part of this normal walking, talking, breathing world. Those 3 seconds, that lifetime work, don't let. Well, after I passed the gun back, we were all friends again, although there were issues and legal friends. But I learned early in my career, it was early in my undergraduate career, 10 years, I learned an important lesson about criminals that helped me throughout my career. I learned that criminals do not practice following Satan. That's right. They don't practice following Satan. Just like I learned that accommodations don't go so far. Well, it's a special honor to be here for this award. I love the name of Heart of Law Enforcement because it goes to the core of law enforcement. It goes to the core of our profession, law enforcement. And on a personal note, I want to mention someone that I admire more than anyone in the world. That was my soul with Baton Rouge PD. Sam Cruz. Had a golden heart and would have qualified for this award every year. Sam's wife, Ethel, who passed away several years ago, is here with us today. Where are you, Ethel? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Yeah, okay, good. I want to speak for just a few minutes about law enforcement profession, our profession, and reminders about what it is, about what law enforcement officers are and what you do. Several years ago, I was the keynote speaker in New Orleans for the Louisiana Narcotic Officers Association annual conference. And while I was at the conference, the president of the Tennessee Association was there, and we were talking. And he said, by the way, he said, did you ever happen to see a dash cam video of a police officer around Nashville who a motorist walked up to and shot 5 times? And I happened to see that. I said, yeah, it was horrible. The officer was screaming as he was shot. The Tennessee president said, well, before I went to narcotics, the one who was shot was my partner. And I heard the call over the radio, and I rushed to the scene. And as I got to the scene, I saw him. And he was still alive, but I didn't think he would be alive long at all. And the people loaded him in the ambulance. They didn't think he would make it alive to the hospital. When they loaded him in the ambulance, I went to climb in the ambulance to go with him. And the hospital, the ambulance people said, no, you can't do that, it's just rules. But I did it. He said, the reason I did it, I didn't want him to die alone. That's our profession. The good news is, miraculously, the officer lived. That's our profession. That officer's life mattered. In Jackson, Mississippi, Indiana, Mississippi Bureau of Narcotics Agents, Charlie Lindsay went with other agents to arrest the drug trafficker. When he got to the apartment, the door was sprung open, and down the hallway, the drug traffickers started shooting at him. They jumped back on the outside of the apartment door, and the guy was shooting through the doorway. Charlie Lindsay saw some movement down below him in the open doorway. He looked down. There was a little child. A child came out of the apartment. And he looked up at Lindsay and he said, Mister, are you going to shoot me? Charlie Lindsay bent over from the waist, exposing himself to gunfire. No vest on, scooped up that child and said, no, nobody's going to shoot you. Nobody's going to shoot you. That child's life mattered. That's our profession. That's your profession. And final note, in northeast Mississippi, another Indian named Chuck Smith went with deputy marshals to arrest a man for child pornography. And the deputy marshals had Chuck park his car on the side of a country road, just in case the man who lived way out in the country was trying to escape by vehicle that way. So while Chuck was parked there, he saw a pickup truck speeding toward him and racing toward him. It looked like it was going to ram the car. Chuck leaned over in the seat and braced himself for the impact, but instead, the truck stopped there right beside him. A man jumped out with a pistol, pointed at Chuck, ordering him out of the car. When Chuck got out, he was wearing a state police parade jacket, so it was clear who he was. And the man, who turned out to be a relative of the one being arrested, pointed the gun at Chuck right in his chest with his finger on the trigger. He said, "I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you, MF." And about that time, there was a noise in the distance. The man glanced over his shoulder, and when he did, Chuck Smith whipped out his gun and fired, bam, and the man went down. There was another man with him. Chuck ordered him back. Chuck called for help on his portable radio. The man that he shot on the ground was still alive, Chuck saw. And Chuck, who had been a trained EMT, dropped down on the knee, administered life-saving aid, and kept the man alive, kept him alive. He was heli-lifted to the trauma center in Memphis, and he survived. Now think about that. A law enforcement officer saved the life of a man who 60 seconds before was trying to kill him. That man's life mattered. But that is our profession. That's law enforcement. That is your profession. I love those stories because to me, those are the core of law enforcement. When I was in Iraq, advising the court, the Iraqi court that tried Saddam and others, one day an Iraqi official of the court said to me, "You Americans believe everybody now because we insist on proper care for them." A month later, another Iraqi official with the court said almost the same thing. "You Americans believe every person's life matters." Well, we do, but law enforcement officers believe that and act on that more than anyone else. Because every day when you serve, every day you show that lives matter, every life matters. When a call comes in, the dispatching officer isn't saying, "Well, wait, before I go, person who needs help, what's their race? What's their religion? What's their politics?" Instead, you go. That's our right? Am I right? Right. So that's why these awards to me, and I've been the keynote speaker for a number of statewide award presentations, but this one's special because of the fact it goes to the core of law enforcement, to what you do, extraordinary acts of kindness, showing that people's lives matter, all of these people. So these people today who are getting awards show us and demonstrate what the profession is. And you know what? For those of you getting awards, what you did will have lasting impact, not just with the people you helped or the community you helped. It will have lasting impact because you will forever serve as an example. You will forever serve as a role model for others, and you will inspire others. The other thing is that by your acts, you brought honor to your department, to your sheriff's office, to your police department, to your agency, and you brought honor to our profession. One last thing, last week I got a message, and it's a huge coincidence from a retired law enforcement officer I've worked with through the years. This message said, you know, since I've been retired, I've been working as a uniformed security at the hospital here. And this week, I stopped at the convenience store after work to get coffee, and I was still in uniform. And I was getting coffee. My friend's wife, there was a black man on the other side of the counter, the employee, and the employee said, Holy crap, man, is that you? He said, remember me? Remember who I am? And the guy reminded him, he said, oh yeah. And he came around the counter and the two were hugging. They were hugging each other. The manager of the convenience store was Smith. He said, hey, we got a business to run. He said, you know, we got a business to run. And the employee said, well, wait, this man's a friend. This cop is a friend of mine. And the manager said, look, we get police in here all the time. We need to, get to work. And the employee said, you don't understand. There's a difference between the police and a cop. This is the employee. The employee said, police are all about statistics and arrest. But cops are about taking care of their community and everyone in it. And my friend here is a cop. So, to each of you who are getting awards today, I say to you, thank you for being a cop. Thank you for being a cop. Thank you for bringing honor to your department and our profession. Thank you for being a role model. I'm proud of you, and you make us proud. God bless you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause for Mr. Spiller. Kathy Childers, are you in the room? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take just a moment and interrupt our program. Carolyn Coleman, if we have a Carolyn Coleman in the room, will you please come up? Me and your car is blocking a space that needs access immediately. And Miss Carolyn Coleman.
The car is registered Carolyn Coleman. And
Car is registered to Carolyn Coleman. So if you're not Carolyn, but you're driving Carolyn's car today, just hurriedly come on up and meet him over here on the side. And now back to our program. So Charlie, I think we have a little gift of appreciation for you. All right. And now we're gonna get back on track. Because without further ado, I'm gonna ask Ms. Linda Hall, our founder and president of Beyond the Badge, to come on up, along with Lieutenant Governor Nungesser. They're gonna come on up and we're gonna start the presentation of our awards, because that's why we're all here today, right, ladies and gentlemen? So here is how this is going to work. Nominees, I know I'm going to say your name and you're going to have that urge to jump right out of your chair. Resist that urge. Because I'm going to tell your story today, whether you want me to or not. So you might as well sit back, get comfortable, let me tell your story. As I get towards the end, you go and stand up and head over here to the Lieutenant Governor and Linda, and they will present you with your awards. As you may recall, the Lieutenant Governor shared with us that each awardee is going to get a framed Louisiana flag that's been flown in your honor, along with a tactical bag full of other goodies. So let's get started with our first honoree, which, as I understand, is a little bit of a surprise honoree. It is Sheriff Jason Ard with the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Ard thought he was here just to recognize one of his deputies, but actually he is our first honoree today. So let me tell you what act of kindness got Sheriff Ard this award. There was a couple named Jerry and Beatrice, and they had just purchased a washer and dryer for Jerry's mom. With the washer and dryer in the back of Jerry's truck, they were traveling down I-49 when the tailgate flew open. And the units tumbled out of the vehicle into oncoming traffic. Well, some may call it luck, but Jerry, Beatrice, and Sheriff Jason Ard called it God's plan. That the sheriff just happened to be traveling a very short distance behind the truck. You see, Sheriff Ard is in Livingston Parish, but he was on his way to a conference in Natchitoches. And he was in a bit of a rush because he was running late. But he immediately shifted his mindset. He didn't give a second thought to his destination. He took advantage of the fact that no one was traveling along the interstate, and he immediately stopped to aid the couple. He checked on Jerry and Beatrice to ensure that they were safe and healthy, and then he jumped into action to help clear the heavy machines from the roadway. In her nomination, Beatrice reflects on what could have been. Looking back on this, so many things could have gone wrong with traffic going 80+ miles per hour. Y'all know they do on I-49. Someone could have been looking down, they could have been texting, they could have been adjusting the radio or air, and ran right into Jerry or Jason. Or the washer and dryer could have hit another vehicle after the tailgate came open. Beatrice concluded with, "The devil was busy, but God is real." I'm so thankful for his grace and continued favor. Now, if that wasn't enough, Sheriff Ard and his lovely wife, Erica, contacted Jerry and Beatrice shortly after the encounter with an offer to pay for a new washer and dryer, considering all the damage that was sustained during the accident. The financial blessing after such a kind act of helping on scene is something that Jerry and Beatrice will never forget. Sheriff Jason Ard and Erica, thank y'all for your acts of kindness. Sheriff, if you'll come forward to receive your Heart of Law Enforcement Award. And our next honoree, ladies and gentlemen, moving right along in our program, is Officer Jorge Padilla with the Baton Rouge Police Department. Here is his story. As part of his routine patrol on December 15th of last year, Officer Padilla was dispatched to a business located on O'Neill Lane in reference to a homeless person who had set up a camp nearby. Officer Padilla arrived at the business, took a report from the employees, and then located the camp a short distance away. Officer Padilla approached the scene and engaged with the couple who had set up the tents. During the course of his interview, the officer confirmed the husband was recently released from the hospital. He and his wife had no permanent residence and really no means to relocate. Officer Padilla let the couple know that they couldn't remain in the location, but he assured them he would help, not just run them off. Officer Padilla made good on that promise. He brought them Christmas candy and coffee, and he also worked with the couple so they would remain safe and warm during a dip in temperatures that evening, because remember, it's December. During this time, the officer was also working the phones and able to locate a relative of the couple who committed to come to Louisiana and give them a ride to something more permanent. Officer Padilla recognized that he had a commitment to the businesses in the area as well, so he stayed in touch with the folks in the area about what he learned from the couple, as well as his immediate plans and hopefully a more permanent solution to the situation. During the busy holiday season, with an overwhelming call volume, Officer Padilla could have taken a very different approach, and he would have been within his parameters to do so. However, this officer chose kindness, compassion, and love for his fellow mates as he worked to find an acceptable solution for all involved. Officer Jorge Padilla, please come forward to receive your Heart of Law Enforcement Award. significant. The fact that it has 3 honorees, however, and that we are having this event today is made just a bit sweeter because it is my understanding that Trooper First Class Taylor Scrantz is celebrating a birthday today. So it is a double special occasion for him. Nick, I got you, right? So let me tell you a little bit about this. So Trooper First Class Jeffrey Bennett, Trooper Brandon Blackburn, and Trooper First Class birthday boy Taylor Scrantz with Louisiana State Police Troop A. The story begins with a call made to Troop A by a concerned citizen, a Mr. Brody Wynn, to obtain the names of some troopers who had stopped his wife the previous night. This call, however, wasn't to file a complaint or anything of the sort. Instead, Mr. Wynn went on to say that his wife was stopped because Troop A had received complaints of a possible impaired driver that was swerving while driving along I-10. Once his wife was stopped, the troopers checked her to make sure she wasn't impaired. The roadside interview determined she was actually an elderly female falling asleep at the wheel with her grandkids in the vehicle. It was the following actions of these troopers that Mr. Wynn said he would never forget and would be forever grateful. Instead of just recommending that she go to a nearby store or pull over somewhere and sleep it off, the troopers escorted Mrs. Wynn and the grandkids to Troop A. After arriving at Troop A, his wife was offered coffee, food, and snacks. Additionally, the children were offered candy and drinks while the troopers interacted with them. During the phone call, Mr. Wynn became overwhelmed with emotions and was actually crying while recounting the story. He explained his wife and his grandkids are his whole world. And he was so thankful for the actions of these troopers. Mr. Wynn told the sergeant that he was talking to that one of the grandkids actually wants to be a police officer when he grows up. Instead of having a negative interaction that could have discouraged the grandson, he felt this positive interaction would actually encourage him to pursue his dream in law enforcement. Mr. Wynn went on to tell the sergeant, "Please don't take this the wrong way, but my wife and my grandkids are black, and all 3 of these troopers are white." He said he only felt the need to say this because of the negativity the media has tried very hard to spread across the country, when all of us bleed red regardless of our race. He also said no matter how you were raised, men have to be taught to be men, and these troopers showed his grandson how to be men and how to treat people with respect. It's our understanding that Mr. Wynn, who lives in Breaux Bridge, is planning to come to Troop A in Baton Rouge to shake the hands of each of these troopers and give them all a hug. Well, we certainly want to thank Trooper First Class Bennett, Trooper Blackburn, and Trooper First Class birthday boy Scrantz. Gentlemen, please come forward to receive your heart of honor.
So the boss wants to take one at a time.
This is Brenda. So we can get your photo.
Gotta wait, Gotta wait.
Sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, hang in there with us. The rest of the stories are just as good as these first 3. Our next honoree is Corporal, who I understand is now Detective, Robin Ducote, with the Baton Rouge Police Department. In November and December 2022, then Corporal Robin Ducote went above and beyond by helping a family that lives in her apartment complex. She reached out to the officers in her department asking for help on behalf of this family. Members of the BRPD, who are a tight unit, donated clothing, furniture, food items, and much more to this family. Separately, Corporal Ducote started a GoFundMe page, which she shared through social media. After just a couple of weeks, her campaign raised over $2,000 with a $1,000 goal. Here's the Corporal's request in her own words. Hello, my name is Robin Ducote, and I'm a police officer in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I'm raising money for Reagan, seen in the photo here, and his mother to provide them with much-needed items as a gift for Christmas. Reagan and his mom live in my apartment complex, and I recently met them during a call for service while I was on duty. Reagan is 3 years old and autistic. He is a very active, curious little guy, and he gets into everything. Unfortunately, he only has one toy, a football, to keep him occupied. He is so sweet and loving and always wants to be held. His mom is a single parent with no help or support system and is struggling to take care of him. Their house is extremely bare. They don't even have a TV. And mom can only afford the basics, such as rent, food, and electricity. Any donations to make their Christmas the best ever would be greatly appreciated. Thanks in advance and happy holidays. Her nominator wrote, Corporal Robin Ducote obviously did this because she has a big heart and loving character. She would never have thought or wanted any type of recognition. She just wanted to help this family by giving them a great and wonderful holiday season. No doubt Robin and Reagan will be bonded for life. Detective, please come forward to receive your Heart of Law Enforcement Award. Our next story is about Deputy Paul Goldman, also with the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office. Deputy Paul Goldman is a school resource officer at the Live Oak Schools in Livingston Parish, which means he knows the school faculty very well. One teacher has a special needs son named Benjamin at the school, and Deputy Goldman has developed a deep bond with him. One day, the deputy, who's a skilled drummer, noticed Benjamin playing drums on his desk. Shortly thereafter, Deputy Goldman surprised Benjamin with a cool pair of drumsticks. A few weeks later, an even bigger surprise, however, was bestowed on Benjamin when he received a brand new set of drums, again courtesy of Deputy Goldman. Not only did he give such an incredible gift, he went to the family's home on his own time to put the entire set together. Benjamin and his mom cannot thank Deputy Goldman enough for the great generosity and love he has shown their family. Apparently, Benjamin has been drumming his heart out ever since. In her nomination, Benjamin's mom offered this scripture from 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 6 through 8. Remember this: whoever sows sparingly will reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously. Each of you should give what you have decided in your heart to give, not reluctantly or under compulsion, but for God loves a cheerful giver. The Monora family, Benjamin and his parents, are here in the room with us today. Y'all, give a wave. Your kindness, and we thank you, family, for spreading the word about Deputy Goldman's generosity. Deputy, please come forward and accept your Heart of Law Enforcement Award. Our next act of kindness and compassion is about Senior Trooper Carl Holliday with Louisiana State Police Investigative Support. For over 10 years, Senior Trooper Carl Holliday has visited St. Helena and Tangipahoa Parish schools with an emphasis on building positive relationships between the students and Louisiana State Police. Senior Trooper Holliday talks with every student he can, especially the kids who are hesitant to speak with a police officer. He uses kind and optimistic words to win over the biggest of his skeptics. He routinely teaches the kids about making good choices and that using your head combined with determination will lead to a successful life. Senior Trooper Holliday also established a monthly program with the St. Helena Early Learning Center to reward the school's Students of the Month. Senior Trooper invites other troopers from state police to eat lunch with these students, and then the star students get some special time to see state police equipment and explore their vehicles. Senior Trooper Holliday uses his own time to engage with his students and has never sought accolades for his actions. His satisfaction comes simply from seeing the smiles on the students' faces and the apprehension at interacting with police just melt away. Senior Trooper Carl Holliday is the best of them. Sir, please come forward and receive your Heart of Law and Ladies and gentlemen, the truth is that we couldn't do this work without financial support. So I'm going to take just a moment and I'd like to tell you about another way in which you can support our organization. BTB's signature fundraiser, Pull for Law Enforcement, is a sporting play competition. This year, we are holding it, sorry Chase, I didn't mean to get ahead of myself. This year, we are holding our sporting play competition on Friday, May 26th at the Bridgeview Gun Club in Port Allen, Louisiana. Please consider participating because we need both individual and team shooters. Teams are comprised of 4 people. If you cannot be or are not interested in being a shooter, you can sponsor a team or the event itself. More information is available on our website, which is beyondthebadgelouisiana.org. Our pool events have been successful, especially because of the amazing assistance of a lot of people, but especially the West Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office and the Louisiana State Troopers Association. We are forever grateful to them. And now, on to our next honoree. That honoree is Senior Trooper Chase Huval, with the Louisiana State Police Criminal Investigations. Sorry, I thought my mic had gone out. On October 18, 2022, Louisiana State Police responded to an alert from the Harris County Sheriff's Office, that's in Texas, regarding 2 individuals wanted for first-degree injury to a child. The 2 adults were likely traveling to Louisiana with 5 juveniles. After hearing the alert, Senior Trooper Chase Huval drove to where he thought the vehicle might pass while coordinating with other agencies and the sections of LSP. Ultimately, he located the suspect vehicle on Interstate 10 traveling eastbound in West Baton Rouge Parish. Senior Trooper Huval remained behind the vehicle while they traveled through heavy traffic. The suspect's vehicle entered East Baton Rouge Parish, where a multi-agency response converged on it and conducted a traffic stop. Officers were able to take the 2 individuals into custody without incident. In the car with the individuals was 1 juvenile. Officers learned through investigative means that the remaining juveniles were safe with families. A welfare check helped to identify everyone and confirmed that all were in good condition. After reuniting all of the juveniles, Senior Trooper Huval wanted to give the kids something positive to think about through this experience. What better way to do that than to arrange for the children to go on a shopping spree, where they were able to pick out some much-needed clothing items, toys, and snacks. Senior Trooper Chase Huval, you are one of a kind. Please come forward and receive your Heart of Law Enforcement Award. Ladies and gentlemen, our next story comes from North Louisiana. Deputy Benji Phelps with the Natchitoches Parish Sheriff's Office. Deputy Benji Phelps was on patrol along Interstate 49 North in Natchitoches on Saturday, June 13th, when he noticed a large suitcase in the middle of the road. After safely securing the luggage, Deputy Phelps checked the contents of the suitcase and noticed some medication which had a patient's name on it. The prescription originated from a pharmacy in Henderson, Texas. Using his investigative skills, Deputy Phelps tracked down the phone number for the pharmacy and called them up. He explained that he was a member of a sheriff's office in Louisiana, and he found a suitcase with medications for one of their patients. He quickly convinced the pharmacist to agree to assist by tracking down the family of the patient. He left his name and phone number with the pharmacist with the hopes that the patient or family member would give him a call back. One of the parents of the suitcase's owner called Deputy Phelps to thank him. She revealed they had lost their daughter's suitcase while traveling through Louisiana from Houston to Florida for a vacation. The family was in the process of attempting to replace the lost items in time for their daughter to be dropped off at water skiing lessons in Zachary on their way home. Mom was so excited to know that they wouldn't have to replace everything in the suitcase, especially since some items were personal and had sentimental values. Deputy Phelps committed to keeping the suitcase secure until the family traveled back through the area. Then he would meet up with them to return the bag. On June 18, the deputy and the family met at French Market Express off I-49 for a joyful reunion. Deputy Benji Phelps is pictured here with the young lady whose suitcase it was, and she has been extremely grateful to him ever since. Deputy Phelps, please come forward and accept your Heart of Law Enforcement. Our next story is about Constable Terica Williams with the Baton Rouge Constable's Office. Constable Terica Williams has been a close friend of Mr. Shannon Robinson, a hairstylist and small business owner here in Baton Rouge for many years. Over the years, Constable Williams has gotten to know all of Miss Robinson's family, including her granddaughter, Chaz Ozine. In November 2021, the unspeakable happened when 8-year-old Chaz was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer. The outlook was not good, but Chaz's family committed not to give up without a fight, and neither did Constable Williams. She wanted to find some way to help the family, so she created a prayer circle, ensuring that every day 5 people would be praying for the family and for the healing of little Chaz. She helped to provide for the family through fundraising and donations while the sweet young girl was in the hospital. The cancer moved quickly, and sadly, Chaz passed away on February 8th of 2022. Knowing that the family would need help with final medical expenses as well as funeral costs, Constable Williams contacted a personal friend and many others to help raise funds to lay this beautiful child to rest. In addition, she created flower arrangements and memorial cards herself for the funeral. Finally, she worked with Miss Lily of Lily's Kitchen in Glen Oaks, Baton Rouge, to set up a drive-through donation station for the public to make donations to help with costs. On the day of the funeral, Constable Williams personally decorated the hall for services and tribute. Because of her efforts and personal commitment, the family was able to bury their beautiful angel without having to handle expenses at the time of this tremendous loss. Constable Terica Williams, you are an angel. Please come forward and receive your honor. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take one final opportunity to thank the sponsors of this year's event. These folks have given generously to our organization, and we are here today because of that generosity. The names of this year's donors are listed on the back of your program. If you find yourself in need of these services that they provide, please do consider patronizing them to show your appreciation for their support. Thus far, we have honored 11 of the 12 Heart of Law Enforcement Award recipients. It is now time to honor the officer whose acts of kindness most exemplifies the values beyond the badge holds high. I am pleased to present the 2023 Heart of Law Enforcement Service Before Self honoree as Deputy Michael Maynard with the Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Office. Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Office School Resource Officer, Deputy Mike Maynard, has been making Valentine's Day extra special for the students at his assigned school, Woodvale Elementary, for 3 years running. Since back in 2020, Deputy Maynard has raised funds and even reached into his own pocket to ensure every student at Woodvale Elementary feels extra special at least one day out of the year. Deputy Maynard even goes as far as creating custom valentines for students with food allergies. He translates valentines into Braille for students with sight impairment and caters to just about any other student's special needs. This past year, 2022, Deputy Maynard organized a Disguise a Badge contest at the school. Students were allowed the opportunity to customize their own Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Office patch. The 31 winners of the competition each received a handmade customized sheriff cookie. The celebration also included a canine demonstration for some of the younger students. This story is just one example of Deputy Mike's acts of kindness he continually displays throughout the school year. Deputy Maynard actively participates in school cleanup days where parents and students go to the school on a weekend and spruce up the campus. On any given day, you can find Deputy Maynard walking the school campus, playing stack the cups with the kindergartners, and even beanbag toss outside with the older kids. His dedication to the Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Office, as well as Woodvale Elementary School, is unwavering. Deputy Maynard is an exceptional law enforcement officer, and more importantly, he's an outstanding humanitarian. It is for this reason that we have selected him to receive our most prestigious honor, the Heart of Law Enforcement Service Before Self Award. Deputy Michael Maynard, please come forward to receive the professional photographer Bobby Mayo down here taking photographs of each honoree. Please know that individual photographs will be available for you on our social media. In addition, we will ask all honorees immediately upon concluding our event to head towards the back. We at least would like to get one nice group photo. And then all honorees from sheriff's offices, the LSA would like to ensure that we get a photo of you as well. So please, honorees, make your way to the back as quickly as you can. Davis, to come up one more time and close us in prayer.
Lord, we thank you for a great, beautiful day, for a great meal shared with incredible people. Though we've only honored a few of them, we thank you for each and every one. We pray that you would bless those in leadership, bless those who answer every call, bless those who deal face to face every day with a very uncertain public. Protect them as they go their way. Foreshadow them both night and day. Lead, guide us, stand down beside us. In Jesus' name.